Good evening, everyone. Welcome to San Antonio for the induction ceremony for Class 37 of the American College of Bankruptcy and the presentation of the college's Distinguished Service Award. I'm Charlie Beckham from Texas, and I'm chair of the college. We are thrilled to be gathering here at the Briscoe Western Art Museum. This building is obviously impressive, an impressive venue to celebrate this occasion with the reverence and grandeur that it deserves. It's with great pride that I bring you to San Antonio, a city that I love. It was 50 years ago this fall that I came to San Antonio to enroll in law school at St. Mary's University, just a few miles from where we are this evening. I could not have known 50 years ago where my legal career would lead me, but I can assure you that I had no clue that it would lead me here tonight as chair of the American College of Bankruptcy. 50 years ago, I would have predicted the Esquire Tavern about 200 yards down Market Street as a more likely destination for me this evening, but here we are. Fortunately for me, San Antonio and St. Mary's kick-started my path to a career in bankruptcy and my induction into the college 26 years ago. Once I became a fellow of the college created an environment for my passion to find a purpose in serving our profession. I hope for our new fellows, you will find that purpose this evening and going forward for many, many years. This evening, we are celebrating the induction of 34 new fellows into the college. I particularly want to welcome our guests, parents, spouses, children, friends, colleagues, siblings. Perhaps this is one of the few windows that you have into your loved one's professional career. It is one of the few opportunities for you to see them in their professional environment. I trust that you sense the community and collegiality of our profession and the college. New fellows, this is a very special night for you, one I hope you will always remember. It's a time to sit back, take stock, and celebrate your accomplishments. It's an opportunity for the fellows of the college to recognize your excellence as leaders in the profession and in your communities. It's an opportunity to mark a milestone and then to begin thinking about possibilities that lie ahead. And it's an opportunity to share this moment with those who have supported you, encouraged you, sacrificed for you, and believed in you. 20 years ago tonight, I sat in your chair, new fellows, wondering what the college was all about. And you may be thinking the same thing and what you can make of the college. What does being a college fellow mean? 26 years after my induction, I can tell you that through my years of service to the college can make you into the professional you dream of being. I want to acknowledge the contribution of many people who made this night possible, our Board of Regents and the Circuit Admission Council and nominating committees who put in countless hours identifying candidates, considering and vetting their nominations, and ultimately selecting the few of you who will be inducted into the college this evening. I want to thank our Distinguished Service Award Committee for their selection of such a deserving service award recipient. I want to thank our past and current college and foundation leadership for their dedicated service, and to all fellows who are here to honor you this evening. And importantly, C.C. Snopp, our executive director, and her staff, who have put together such a splendid weekend despite the elevator. We will now present the college's Distinguished Service Award to Professor Elizabeth Gibson. The Distinguished Service Award is the college's highest honor, first presented in 1996. The Distinguished Service Award recognizes significant accomplishments of a college fellow in the administration of justice, in bankruptcy, and insolvency field. This award recognizes a fellow who provides distinguished service consistent with the college's goals and purposes over an extended period of time, arising from volunteer activities rather than services rendered to a client as a paid professional. Introducing Professor Gibson will be Professor Melissa Jacoby from the University of North Carolina, a noted bankruptcy scholar and author. Professor Jacoby, would you please come forward and introduce our distinguished award recipient?
This is the hot ticket for San Antonio tonight, clearly. What an honor to be with you all today. So I'd love for you to picture this stage packed with people. Packed wall to wall, jostling, first day hearing in a bankruptcy court, perhaps. And in introducing Elizabeth tonight, I represent at least that kind of crowd of Elizabeth appreciators. Her nomination package, compiled without any knowledge or consent, is really more like a dossier, but a happy one. It is rivaling the bankruptcy code in word count, and yet so much more uplifting and accessible. So Elizabeth's fans disagree on so many things, and yet they are fully aligned on this, that Elizabeth's contributions warrant maximum celebration. Her expertise, coupled with her credibility and her highest ethical standards, make our field better, and her service work increases this system and this field's caliber within the fuller judiciary. So the fan club includes many past winners of this very award, including a leading scholar who's called Elizabeth's work the gold standard. Her express appreciators include circuit judges, district judges, whose deep trust in Elizabeth's ability and integrity has benefited the entire field. Former law students attest to being inspired into this field and into service, including 6 and counting former law students who have been selected to be bankruptcy judges, and a variety of others from coast to coast who marvel at and benefit from Elizabeth's hard work. Now, I'm mindful of the multiple audiences, including all the way in the back, that come to this differently. So I'm happy to be here with Elizabeth, even though I might be making her blush a little bit, and her family, her husband Bob Mosteller, and her sons Benjamin and Daniel. We also have college fellows, including the newest members, and loved ones who support all of us slightly bankruptcy nerds, which I say with a lot of affection, and it's not really slightly. It's very intense. Plus, we've got university students who some of us had lunch with today, who are poised to navigate the meaning of success and service in a field and in a world that sometimes sends conflicting signals. So it's customary to review some cold hard facts at this point, so let's talk about some of the successes. Elizabeth clerked on the United States Supreme Court. She was on a fast track to partnership, or did achieve a fast track to partnership in an elite Washington, D.C. firm. Her endowed professorship is not for the mere distinguished, but the exceptionally distinguished. It could be more of a throne than a chair. That is not her fault, but it is very exclusive. And she would have been, and should have been, a judge on the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals. But for a single senator who blocked nominees simply for being from North Carolina, Elizabeth would have sailed through that nomination and confirmation in the Senate. And another fact, let me direct this one to Daniel and Benjamin. The people who work with your mother on service activities say your mother is typically the smartest person in the room, including when working on the hardest things, like jurisdiction, sovereign immunity, need I go on? So for the students in the room, let me emphasize that success and smarts do not equal service, let alone distinguished service that we're recognizing today. We recognize you, Elizabeth, for consistently reinventing your success and smarts into this field, into your mentees, and into the judiciary. Elizabeth has taken no shortcuts to hard work and has operated under the highest ethical standards. Even better, Elizabeth has inspired so many people to pay it back and forward. And I think this idea of show, don't tell really works in this case. It's not only what you do, Elizabeth, but how you do it that I think has impressed so many of your appreciators. And if any in the audience have drifted at this point, please hear me out on this. I really want to bring you back to this as we bring this to a close. Because Elizabeth has a secret sauce, a dimension of service that should not be overlooked. Elizabeth, your fans marvel at how deftly you manage and diffuse conflict and tension within groups, not by burying it, but in constructively finding a way to move forward. This could be trademarked, patented. There's some way that you possibly could teach us all. And so you affirmatively make professional service more welcoming and pleasant for others in increasing the odds that their commitment will endure. So for all of this, Elizabeth, from many, many, many people, thank you. And let me end back with your family. To Daniel and Benjamin again, your mom is both respected and beloved, and for the family as well as Bob. This award is for Elizabeth, but we thank you for sharing her with us.
Thank you to the college and the award committee for this incredible honor. And by incredible, I mean not capable of being believed. Indeed, I was stunned when Charlie called to tell me that I'd been selected to receive it, even though I tried to act cool. I was shocked because among the prior recipients of this award are some of my bankruptcy heroes. Some people have a bucket list of things they want to do before they die. I have a list of people I want to be when I grow up, and many of them are on this list of past award winners. I'm truly touched and deeply honored to receive this award. When you retire from your primary job, as I have time to do things like the daily New York Times crossword puzzle. One day last week, the theme of the puzzle was serendipity, which the puzzle clued as happy chance. A more complete definition is the occurrence of finding valuable, agreeable, or pleasant things by chance when not looking for them. The theme crossword answers included as examples of serendipity the discovery of Post-it notes, penicillin, microwave ovens, and silly putty. The puzzle got me thinking about the serendipity that brought me into the world of bankruptcy. Now, I know that most of you grew up dreaming of becoming bankruptcy lawyers. No? Well, neither did I. As a student at Francis Lacey Elementary School in Raleigh, North Carolina, I would come home every day and play school. I would line my dolls up and get out my chalkboard and teach them what we'd learned in school that day. I was sure that I was going to be a public school teacher when I grew up, and I was always going to teach the grade that I just finished. Somewhere along the way, however, in the late 1960s and early 70s when I was in college, teaching seemed too traditional a profession to pursue. Lots of new opportunities had opened up for women, so I headed to law school. And in my last semester, in the spring of 1976, remember that date, it becomes important, I took a bankruptcy, the law school's only bankruptcy course. I'm not sure why I took it. Maybe it just fit my schedule well. During my 2 judicial clerkships after law school, I don't believe that I worked on any bankruptcy appeals. And after clerking, off I went to Shea & Gardner in Washington, D.C. to do litigation. Now here comes the serendipity. Much of my time as an associate was spent on a team representing a Canadian asbestos mining company. You see where this is going. It was a defendant in lawsuits in state and federal courts around the country, and in most of those cases, Johns Manville was a co-defendant. Well, fast forward to August 1982, and Johns Manville files for bankruptcy in the Southern District of New York. That meant that someone on our team needed to figure out how the JM bankruptcy affected our client. The hope, soon dashed, was that it stayed the litigation against our client, too. I don't recall now if I volunteered or for the job or was drafted, but I became the so-called bankruptcy expert on the team. Well, I did have one bankruptcy course under my belt. But wait, I quickly discovered that they had changed the whole law since I was in law school. So back to square one. Now here comes serendipity number 2. In 1983, we moved back to North Carolina, where I began my job at UNC School of Law and my husband, Bob, at Duke Law School. My dean had asked me what I wanted to teach, and I had replied, based on my practice experience, civil procedure, federal courts, and torts or products liability. He said they needed someone to teach trust and estates. Anything but that, I replied. So he said, well, give me a list of every course you'd be willing to teach. And I did so, and way down at the bottom was debtor-creditor relations, as the bankruptcy course was then called. And lo and behold, that's how I became a bankruptcy professor. The first semester I taught bankruptcy, I was about a day ahead of my students. It turned out there was a lot more to the course than what I'd learned at Shea and Gardner. Sometimes a student would ask a question, and I'd say, oh, we'll get to that later in the semester. Not really being sure if that was true. Maybe I shouldn't be admitting this, but I'm assuming that the statute of limitations for educational malpractice is shorter than 42 years. Anyway, at the end of the semester, I realized I really liked the subject. It embraced lots of areas of the law, so it seemed like a great area of specialization for a generalist. And I was a federal procedure jurisdiction person, and here was an interesting federal substantive course to go along with civil procedure in federal courts. I don't want to suggest that my career has just been one serendipity after another. There have been disappointments as well along the way. I was disappointed, of course, that Congress adjourned without the Senate acting on my nomination to a seat on the Fourth Circuit. But other opportunities followed that disappointment that have enriched my life and career. The most important of those has been the opportunity to serve as the reporter for the Advisory Committee on Bankruptcy Rules. This has been a great learning experience for me. I've been able to see the thought and care that underlie the rules and forms by the lawyers, judges, and professors who give their time to serve on the committee, bankruptcy judges, court staff, and practitioners who make suggestions for new rules and rule amendments, those who review proposed amendments that are published and submit comments to the committee, and researchers at the Federal Judicial Center who gather data to inform the committee's work. For me personally, the greatest joy I've received from serving as a reporter has been the opportunity to work with some exceptional people. I've served with 5 judges who've chaired the committee during my tenure: Laura Taylor Swain of the Southern District of New York, Gene Wiedoff of the Bankruptcy Court for the Northern District of Illinois, the late Sandra Ikuda of the Ninth Circuit, Dennis Dow of the Bankruptcy Court for the Western District of Missouri, and currently Rebecca Connolly of the Bankruptcy Court for the Western District of Virginia. Each had their own style of leading the committee, but from all of them I've learned much about bankruptcy, legal writing, and leadership. If that weren't enough, I've also gotten to serve with 3 amazing and brilliant associate reporters. Then Professor, now Dean, Troy McKenzie, then Professor, now Judge, Michelle Harner, and currently Professor Laura Bartell. They each became my good friend, sharing the workload, serving as a sounding board, and just making the job more fun. I've mentioned some of the people who've enriched my life and career, but none are more important than my family, who are here with me tonight. Bob has made possible, with his love, encouragement, and support, virtually everything I've accomplished in my adult life. And no mother can be prouder of her children than I am of our 2 sons, Daniel and Benjamin Mosteller. Daniel is Associate Deputy Attorney General of North Carolina and has represented the state in the Purdue bankruptcy and other opioid cases. Benjamin wisely decided that 3 lawyers in the family were enough. He went into the entertainment industry instead, and now is a senior programming manager for Roku in Santa Monica, California. They have brought much joy to my life. I've always been proud to be a fellow of the American College of Bankruptcy, but now I'm especially proud to be part of an organization that remains steadfast in its commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Where other organizations and institutions have retreated, the college has remained firm. Thanks to the leadership for that. Finally, to the members of the 37th class of fellows, your peers have recognized you as attaining the highest standards of expertise, leadership, integrity, professionalism, scholarship, and service to the bankruptcy and insolvency practice and to your communities. Congratulations and welcome to the college.
There they go.
Isn't that wonderful? Being inducted as a fellow of the college is the highest form of honor for a bankruptcy and insolvency professional because it's recognition by your peers of a distinguished career. You can't apply, can't lobby, can't simply write a check. Instead, through a confidential and highly selective process, you are nominated by those who encounter you in your practice and professional life, whether they are adversaries, allies, or on the other side of the bench. Your peers are watching you. Your peers determine if you have met the high standards for selection as a fellow of the college, which include the highest standards of professionalism, ethics, character, integrity, and professional expertise. Criteria also include sustained evidence of scholarship, teaching, lecturing, writing on bankruptcy and insolvency topics, and community service. Community service is a key to election to the college, demonstrating a commitment to elevating knowledge and understanding of the profession. But why do we look for those qualities? And what does being a fellow of the college really mean? Let's start with the mission of the college. The American College of Bankruptcy is an honorary public service association. The college is dedicated to enhancing professionalism, scholarship, and service in bankruptcy and the insolvency law practice. Many people, when they think about the college, stop at the word honorary. There is no question it is an honor to be elected to the college, but it doesn't end there. And in fact, induction marks the beginning of another path in your career, because we aren't just an honorary association. The American College of Bankruptcy is an honorary public service association. There are many excellent practitioners in our field who are not fellows of the college, but professional expertise alone doesn't satisfy the standards that we have. What distinguishes fellows is what we refer to in the college as Part B. Part B is what each of you do to enhance the profession and the community in which you live and work. The college is comprised of leaders whose actions can have an exponential impact on our profession and community. What you do can affect hundreds and thousands and even millions of lives. And it's not necessarily the number of people that matters, but the life-changing impact. As a bankruptcy professional, we affect whether or not people may keep their jobs, whether they can rehabilitate their business, whether they can pay their medical expenses and keep their cars and homes. We are uniquely qualified and positioned as a public service association to use our collective power to make a difference. And how do we do that in the college? At the core of the mission is professionalism, a commitment to promoting ethical conduct, excellence in practice, dedication to the highest standards of public service. The restructuring process and the consumer practice are often complex and emotionally charged, and clients need professionals who can not only provide legal and financial guidance, but also the highest levels of professionalism and integrity. They need judges who can expertly and impartially decide the matters before them. Professionalism is necessary to uphold the confidence of our insolvency system in the United States and globally. More people encounter our justice system through bankruptcy courts than any other court. The bankruptcy law provides a framework for resolution of financial distress, whether in or out of court. And our law often is at its best when it drives consensus. That can only happen in an environment of professional competence and respect. The college fosters this environment, whether through using our honorary capacity to recognize excellence through admission and awards facilitating collaboration and bankruptcy and insolvency associations, enhancing and engendering collegiality among professions, and enhancing professionalism. Scholarship is a fundamental element of our mission. The college plays an important role in the resilience and integrity of our insolvency system through its commitment to scholarship. Our fellows include some of the foremost practitioners and academics in the world. Scholarly discourse at programs and panels around the country provide at the highest levels engenders thought leadership. Our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee lead the way with exposing law students to discovering restructuring and insolvency practice. In the fall, college hosted students, and in the spring, the college hosted students at University of Illinois and Howard University to expose them to more of the bankruptcy practice and what becoming a bankruptcy professional may be. These kinds of programs are focused on providing information to law students about careers in bankruptcy and insolvency, and they cultivate a pipeline of candidates to become future bankruptcy practitioners. Through our Distinguished Service Students program, we select one student from each judicial circuit and a business student to come and be our guests at this meeting. Many of those distinguished students are in our audience with you this evening, and it's a high honor for them to come join us. And if you meet one of them this evening, please congratulate them. They are our future. Through our American College of Bankruptcy Scholars Program, we sponsor judicial externships for law students and also fund their attendance at the National Conference of Bankruptcy Judges. We also offer an international bankruptcy course taught every spring and offered at numerous law schools across the country with respected international bankruptcy and insolvency practitioners. Another aspect of our scholarship is our Bankruptcy Policy Committee. We identify and analyze policy issues to enhance good governance in bankruptcy law throughout our country. We also chronicle a history of our profession with contributions for important papers. In cooperation with the University of Pennsylvania, we maintain the bankruptcy archives at Penn, in which many scholars use that archives on a regular basis to research our history and understand our past so we can figure out our future. An important element of our commitment to service is the College Foundation. It's the college's charitable arm. We are the largest financial supporter of bankruptcy and insolvency-related pro bono programs in the country. Through grants to legal aid societies, who help consumers who cannot otherwise afford insolvency and bankruptcy advice, and providing other services. In 2025, we celebrated over 22 years of giving and distributed almost $650,000 in pro bono grants and $58,000 in pipeline grants. I'm going to say that again. The College Foundation donated $650,000 toward pro bono efforts last year, and that's just remarkable. Since inception, the College Foundation has given away over $6.4 million, and it's going to continue for years to come because we have new fellows and new blood in the process. So, and also I want to point out the money from the foundation comes from our fellows who are generous in supporting our cause. So back to the inductees and the question that we set out to answer. What does being a fellow of the college mean, and why are you here? It means that you are a change maker in our profession. Change makers are people who see patterns around them, identify problems, figure out ways to solve the problems, organize fluid teams, and lead collective action, and then continually adapt as situations change. This is what you do every day as bankruptcy and insolvency professionals, and you'll be able to do it here as fellows of the college. Because at the college, we don't rest on our laurels. While we celebrate our traditions with events like this ceremony, we don't do this to honor the ashes of the past, but rather it's to keep the flame alive. We have invited you as individuals to share your commitment to these ideals, to join us in using our collective power as leaders to make a difference in our profession. So find your passion. Start your journey of service with the college. We welcome you to the college. We welcome your friends, family, and loved ones, and we are thrilled to recognize your accomplishments and welcome you into our community of fellows. And now I'd like to invite Jennifer Hagel, the chair of our Board of Regents, to share some more information about our new inductees. Jennifer?
You know, before I start, I've just got to ask Professor Gibson one burning question. How do you and your husband work through that whole North Carolina Duke thing? Is it rough this weekend? Is it very rough?
It's almost more complicated than you know.
Okay.
I'm the Duke fan. He's the Carolina fan.
Oh. All right, we're going to talk at the reception, so I have to hear about this. Okay. Class 37 inductees, fellows, college leadership, family, and friends. It is with great pleasure that I extend a warm welcome to the exceptional 37th class of the American College of Bankruptcy, including our very special honorary fellow. My name is Jennifer Hagel, and I have had the pleasure of serving as chair of the Board of Regents of the college for the past 2 years. Each year, the college has the honor of recognizing leaders who have shaped the field of insolvency in meaningful and lasting ways. This year's 39 inductees are no exception, exemplifying not only excellence in practice, financial advisory services, scholarship, the judiciary, and public service, but also the character, leadership, and dedication that define what it truly means to be part of the college, professionals who have gone above and beyond what it takes to become an impressive and, as importantly, a well-rounded practitioner. So what does it mean to qualify for admission to the college? Practicing at the highest level in the bankruptcy and insolvency field? Check. Taking the lead on complex and strategic matters? Check. Sustained performance exemplifying the highest standards of professionalism, character, integrity, and leadership among bankruptcy specialists? Check. The highest of ethical standards? Check. Exceptionally high-quality professional service to clients, bar, bench, and public? Check. These are the basic qualifications for admission to the college as outlined in our bylaws. But it takes more than this to be selected for actual admission. This class, along with all of the college fellows, has not just developed exceptional restructuring skills. Indeed, they have gone above and beyond in a way that places them in a very special and exclusive group. And what does it mean to go above and beyond? Scholarship. These fellows have demonstrated a sustained commitment to bankruptcy scholarship, whether it is by teaching, public speaking, or generating distinguished published writings on bankruptcy procedure, practice, or philosophy in a way that enhances bankruptcy literature, education, practice, and process. Community service and pro bono work. While technical excellence is required for admission to the college, service is what distinguishes our fellows. The college has always believed that access to competent guidance in times of financial crisis is a matter of dignity and justice. Many of these fellows have taken on pro bono cases, led community financial clinics, educated underserved communities about financial literacy, and worked to improve the efficiency and fairness of the legal system. Many others have served on nonprofit boards to better their schools, charities, religious and political affiliations, and their communities in general. Mentoring the next generation. Every fellow in the college has benefited in one way or another from mentors who invested time and insight into their professional growth. This year's class has a demonstrated track record of supporting the next generation of insolvency professionals, mentoring law clerks, coaching moot court teams, guiding young professionals through their first complex restructuring, and advancing associates to partner are just some examples of how these fellows have committed themselves to advancing the restructuring professionals of the future. These are just a few examples of how this class of fellows went above and beyond to qualify for selection to the college. Of course, none of us can do what it takes to go above and beyond without the support of our family, friends, and community. Practicing in the legal and advisory profession is not for the faint of heart, and it really does take a village to make it work. I am quite confident that all of us can recall the many sacrifices we and our families have made to meet the demands and the insane pace the restructuring field requires. Putting aside missed vacations, holidays, sporting events, and recitals, how about the crazy places that we have all taken conference calls? From the top of the mountain to the middle of the ocean, to remote locations desperately searching for cell service, to noisy airports, practice fields, gyms, and rehearsals, praying that mute button is working. So a big shout out to our immediate and extended families, organic and chosen, our friends, our assistants, our pets, everyone who kept us going when the going got rough and celebrated our successes along the way. Now, let's take a look at just how amazing Class 37 is. This class is 44% female. And for those of you who, like me, are bad at math, that means 56% are male. 18% are age 44 and under. 41% are age 45 to 54, moving our median age in the right direction. The class is 3% academic, 3% consumer, 24% financial, 13% judicial, 5% government, and 53% of our fellows are attorneys. We have 19 states and Puerto Rico represented. And Canada and Colombia represent the class internationally. Truly an impressive array of worldwide talent ranging across all practice areas, ages, and location. But these are just statistics. Allow me to share some specific fun facts about how this class went above and beyond the bankruptcy practice to earn their admission to the college. The incoming class of fellows includes a lifelong supporter and president of the San Juan Ballet, a co-founder of Felicia's Children's Center Foundation, a bilingual preschool in Tasmania serving families below the poverty line, a sponsor of the Women's Restructuring Gender Equity Lecture and Workshop Series, a founder of Catholic Renewal of Catholic Charities of Greater New York, president of the Monty, a community storytelling theater, a member of the board of the Philadelphia Arts Alliance, a special advocate and guardian ad litem for CASA, court-appointed special advocates for children, a co-creator of MoneyWise Financial Education for high school students, a board member of Uniting Voices Chicago, the largest children's choral program in the United States, inspiring and uniting youth from diverse backgrounds to become global leaders through music, a board member for Friends of the Children of New York, serving children kindergarten to high school to help break the cycle of poverty. A volunteer with Sense, a nonprofit consumer education program, and a member of CARE, a nonprofit committed to improving financial literacy for underserved communities. A pianist and director on the board of Chamberfest West, a nonprofit chamber music organization. And to top it off, we have our very first husband and wife in the history of the college admitted as fellows in the same year. This class not only represents the best and brightest, again, that's a given, but it also represents a group of people who made the choice and the time to give back to their profession and their communities through a wide variety of charitable, civic, pro bono, religious, and educational activities. And speaking of giving back to the profession, I'd like to say a few words about our new honorary fellow, Professor Edward I. Altman. We are very proud to induct Professor Altman as an honorary fellow of the college this year. Professor Altman, the Max L. Hein Professor of Finance Emeritus at New York University's Stern School of Business, is a leading corporate finance scholar and educator and a pioneer in the study of corporate defaults and bankruptcies. For decades, Professor Altman has been studying the implications of financial distress, and he is internationally known for his famous Z-score model, which is used worldwide to predict defaults and bankruptcies. Professor Altman has published or edited more than 20 books and over 160 scholarly articles, and his research has earned him honors too numerous to mention. We are very pleased that Professor Altman is joining our ranks as an honorary fellow, and we look forward to hearing more about his work as part of our program tomorrow. Now that you are about to be officially inducted into the college, I would like to encourage you to continue to pay it forward through active engagement in the many committees and leadership opportunities the college offers. Education and scholarship are cornerstones of the college's mission. Through our foundation and pro bono grant programs, which Charlie described, we support academic research, public financial literacy, court and bar educational programs, and community-based outreach focused on access to justice. Consider supporting the college's commitment to developing both the knowledge base of the restructuring profession and the practical understanding of those navigating financial distress. Look into advocating for the underserved in coordination with the college's pro bono programs. Become involved with the college's foundation, working to raise funds to support our pro bono grants and the college's many programs to support the restructuring community. And most importantly, remember to act as a mentor for the next generation. We know that diversity of background, perspective, geography, practice, and life experience strengthens the profession and our community. Investing your time, attention, and expertise will help the college reach its goal of reflecting the full diversity of the communities in which we live, work, and play. And so, in closing, congratulations to each and every one of you for doing what it takes to go above and beyond. It is not often in our careers that we have a moment to pause, take a breath, and a bow. Your admission to the college is hard-earned and so well-deserved. And as Charlie noted, you should be incredibly proud of your achievement. I know we are. And now I'd like to turn it over to Trish Redmond, president of the college, who will call each of you up to receive your certificates. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome new inductees, families, friends. Tonight is magical, and you are the magic. When I call your name, please come up to be inducted into the college and to be honored. Professor Edward I. Altman. Michael Baker. Michelle H. Bass. Timothy G. Becker. Edward C. Boltz. Thomas Buford. David Burry, Jr. Charles Carroll. Carmen D. Conde Torres. The Honorable D. Sims Crawford. Melissa J. Davey. Melissa Davis. Daniel D. Franceschi. Ebba Gabisa. Kara K. Gendron. Professor Brooke E. Gottberg. Nicole L. Greenblatt. Robin Gorofsky. Theodore J. Hard. Susanna Hideki Arango. J. Michael Isa. Aaron M. Kaufman. The Honorable Christopher M. Lopez. The Honorable Julie A. Manning. Gregory S. Milligan. Layla Milligan.
This is the wife. That was. He just said he's the plus one. Good husband there.
Tanya M. Moiran. Kelly Stevenson Norfleet. Deirdre O'Connor. Rebecca F. Redwine Grow. Mark A. Renzi. Jeffrey D. Saperstein. Andrew H. Sherman. And Elizabeth Woodward. Now please give these new inductees.
That concludes the induction ceremony. Please join us for celebration out in the courtyard.